Hey guys, it's Charlie. It's bad enough for the last 2 weeks we had to endure this freak show in D.C. with the red team and the blue team pointing fingers at one another, prancing around, pretending like they're working on your behalf, and at the last minute putting together a $38.5 billion cut, going before the cameras and declaring victory, making talking points for the election coming up in 2012. You know, we endured this freak show and we got a trinket, $38.5 billion. Well, now we find out today that this $38.5 billion is more like 8 to 14 billion dollars. Once again, DC does the magic accounting tricks and they start counting things that shouldn't be allowed to be counted as a cut in the first place. I'll attach an article that explains it, but here's just a few examples. $2.5 billion for a highway bill, that money that couldn't be spent anyway because it was tied up with other legislation. Money that has been set aside, $3.5 billion worth, to pay for health insurance for young kids. They're not going to use it now, so they're going to count that as a cut. One-time gimmicks is what they brought before us to get $38.5 billion. The true cuts, $8 to $14 billion. Smoke and mirrors, guys. Something to appease each party is all that was done. A little trinket here, a little trinket there. We'll claim success and we'll move on to the next subject, which is going to be the very rapidly approaching debt ceiling. It's not too late on this bill. They're going to vote on it in the next couple of days in the Congress. So I'm going to put the number to the congressional switchboard down in the more info box and call your representative. If you don't know who they are, just call up there and tell them what state you live in or what your zip code is, and they'll connect you to the right office. Tell them you don't want to vote for this cut. You'd rather see the government shut down than consistently being lied to. You've had it. You've had enough of it. No more smoke and mirrors. No more $38.5 billion gimmicks that you find out it's $8 billion or $14 billion. Along with that, I'm going to attach a story that Mark Tabibi put out, another brilliant piece by him, showing you who is truly being represented in D.C., and it's Wall Street. This article will tell you that John Mack, CEO of Morgan Stanley, that his wife, whose claim to fame is a thoroughbred horse investor and also a practicer of alternative medicine, managed to come up, her and her buddy Susan managed to come up with $15 million and start their own TALF, Waterfall TALF, which enabled them to get $220 million from the Federal Reserve in almost zero interest. With that money, they went out and they bought troubled assets. They bought them up to the tune of $220 million, and anything that was bought that showed profit, they got to keep. Anything that was bought and failed, well, it just stayed on the Federal Reserve's balance sheet, and you and I get to pay for that. So we see who's really serviced in D.C. It isn't you and it isn't me with these ridiculous proclamations of cutting the budget $38 billion in a nearly $4 trillion budget. It's the people on Wall Street who brought us here in the first place. How could you get more outraged at a story than this? The too big to fail that led us here, the spouses of the too big to fail, put together $15 million while 45 million people are on food stamps, and they get lent $220 million from the Federal Reserve so they can sit back and get guaranteed profits. And if it fails, so what? You're going to pay for it. Stories are attached. That's all I got.